As a real estate agent in Florida, I'm going to tell you what I've been seeing lately. So, we're getting a ton of sellers who want to sell. Great, awesome clients, listings, but no, there's a catch because majority of these sellers want us to sell their property for a value it's not worth. The numbers don't lie, the comps don't lie.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the Worlds, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy, city boy.
All right, I saw this TikTok is kind of going crazy. Let's give her a like. This is her channel, Giovanna Lanza. Giovanna Lanza. Apparently, she's a real estate agent, but it says realtors, it's okay to turn down listings. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was an interesting title, especially in this day and age. I got a buddy who bought some properties and, he, long story short, made a few financial blunders and now he wants to sell so he can get right and then move somewhere else where, the cost of living is just a little bit less. We're here in Colorado. So he has this one listing in a really nice area and he's trying to sell it for $485,000. However, everything in that area has dropped to 435 to 450. If he doesn't sell it for the price point he needs, then it kind of sets back some things he's trying to do. And he was telling me that story. Then I have another buddy who's in a kind of similar story. And what they're trying to do is sell at the market rate of 2020. I don't know what happened in 2020 in Colorado, but I remember this because my parent-in-laws were moving to Kentucky and they had all this money in their home and they were able to sell their home for, I believe it was like, let's say $520,000. Typically before all these hikes in the market and all this inflation and stuff, that house would have went for about 450 typically. And it's a really nice house, really nice area, but everything just spiked up. So they were able to flip it and then go to a different state where the cost of living is less and build a house with the profits. They were able to buy 45 acres and then build a full house with the profits they got from selling their house in Colorado, which had, I believe they had paid put 250,000, maybe more into that house. So when they flipped it for, above 500,000, they were obviously able to pay off the remainder, what was left, and then have a chunk, which I believe, they had, I forget what it was, but whatever they profited, they were able to buy 45 acres of land in a different state and then build from the ground up and then just start their retirement, retired military. So military benefits, disabled benefits, and then my father-in-law is kind of the GOAT. Like he just worked for this company for years and just moved up the ranks. So I don't know their exact financial situation, but they're doing great. Long story short, people are still trying to sell properties at that price, and something is happening in the market right now. It is July 21st, 2025 when I'm recording this. And I don't know where the market's going to shift to, but there's this weird thing in certain states, the price of houses have started to go down a little bit. Our rent is normally the rent that I pay, it goes up 100 to 150 a year. And this year it only went up $50. And that was the first time ever since being a renter I've ever seen. I was like, $50, what's going on? And so I'm starting to see some unique things happen, at least in Colorado, but I don't know if that's going to be long lived. I don't know if we're going to see, I don't know. I'm not an economics dude, but I thought it'd be cool to hear her talk about it. She seems like she's a real estate agent. And I don't know, I've been enjoying checking out these clips on TikTok that my buddy's been sending me. So let me know what you guys think. Tap in and let's hear her out.
As a real estate agent in Florida, I'm going to tell you what I've been seeing lately. So, we're getting a ton of sellers who want to sell. Great, awesome clients, listings, but no, there's a catch because majority of these sellers want us to sell their property for a value it's not worth. The numbers don't lie, the comps don't lie. If you want to overprice your
Sorry. Why is she pointing like a bottle of it looks like tanning lotion or something at the camera, but it looks like a dildy, if you know what I mean? At first I thought it was one of those. I was like, what is she doing? but it's like a bottle of like baby oil or something. Shout out to Diddy and them. Damn. Yo, I'm sorry. That threw me off. She's just like, da, 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 da. I was like, yo, what?
Property and shoot yourself in the foot, that's one thing. But we're realizing that it's not even worth taking the listing. Who cares? We don't need the listings to show we get listings, because when we get a listing and we market, we're dumping at least $500 per property to get it going, get the photography, get the videography. It costs money to play. So if we're spending all this money, say we have 5 sellers who want to list their house all overpriced, 5 times 500 is $2,500 that more than likely the houses aren't going to sell. Like, let's be honest. The sellers aren't going to accept a low ball offer, is what they call it, but realistically it's what the house is worth, but they're not going to accept it. So agents are spinning their wheels, dumping money into these properties to try and sell it, when it's just a waste of time. It really is, and I hate to say it, but it's what's going on right now. So Florida, I don't know what state you guys are in, but I'm in Florida, and it's 100% a buyer's market right now. Sellers do not have the upper hand. You're lucky to get a couple showings right now, especially if you're overpriced. You're probably going to get none.
That's interesting. She said it's a buyer's market. Now, in comparison to, I don't know when the hike was. I just remember after 2020, maybe it was 2021 or 2022. Like, that's when my parent-in-laws sold their house, and I just saw this crazy spike. Because I've honestly been looking at. I wasn't positioned to buy a house when I started looking, but around 2016 I started looking, and I've been looking since then. And they've just been going up since then. And I'm like, damn, now I'm in a position where I'm like, oh, I could start looking at. But then it's like, does it make sense because of my positioning, right? Does it make sense to put all this money into a house? Essentially, some people that I've heard, like some business people and economics dudes, were kind of just insinuating if you don't have 20% to put into the house, right? So you don't have PMI and stuff like that, you're not ready to buy a house. That's what they would say. You know, a lot of people put 5% down, 10% down, da da da. But they're like, that's fine. You can do that. But if you can't afford to put 20% down and then still have a savings, still have investments, still work your business, you're just not ready for it. I don't know if that's true or not. But me personally, that's what I am. I'm an entrepreneur, and I put a lot of money, time, and effort into my other businesses, and trying to make them flourish, like my concert promotion company and a few other things. So I'm like, does it make sense to dump all of this money into something that I can't flip it right away? Right. So for example, do you put, you know, 50, $100,000 into a house, or do I just put that into like an event? The event is 3 months out. I get the money back plus a profit type of concept. You see what I'm saying? Because you put deposits down on artists, and when you book them, sometimes if you have a good relationship, you don't have to put a deposit or it's super low. But essentially, having liquid in my business is important to be able to secure certain artists to be able to perform. So with that being said, it just doesn't make sense for my personal, you know, position right now. However, there does seem to be, you know, the price of houses seem to be going down a little bit in some markets, but it's not like this, oh, there's a crash, there's a this, there's a that, which a lot of people thought. They're like, oh, there's this housing bubble and it's about to pop. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And I'm not just waiting for that moment. When it's time, it's time. But right now, I think I need to just be patient, keep investing, keep working as hard as I can, keep generating, and figure it out slowly but surely. But I thought this was a unique video, a perspective from a real estate agent, because I didn't. And again, this is in Florida. I'm in Colorado. Two totally different markets, totally different, right? So I don't know if that's going on here, if anyone wants to tap in with that. But personally, I have seen people trying to price their houses at really just something they want to make. It's not like, oh, this is the going rate. Like I mentioned, my buddy, you know, he's trying to flip his house for $485,000, I believe. But in that area, almost all the houses are around that 435 to 450. So his, you know, is, depending on which price point, $30 to $40,000 over what the market is dictating. So some people are just like, nah, I got to get my bread. I'll sit on it, da 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 da. And some people can do that, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people can't. A lot of people need to flip their house and get into their new situation. And there's a lot of different things fluctuating. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. Y'all ever dealt with this? I literally watch these videos more and more because I'm just trying to figure out my way. What's the next thing for me? Like, how can I pull this off? So we're gonna see. Anyways, let me know what I got, what I missed. I'll catch you on the next one. Oh yeah, her teeth. Her teeth. What the bro? Her teeth were so white. You know when they talk about the pearly gates in heaven? I imagine them being the same color of that woman's teeth. Her teeth, I'm like, what the hell's her protocol? I got I got just normal teeth. My teeth are white, but they just normal. Her shit was glowing, cuz. Yeah, her teeth were crazy. Anyways.
City boy, city boy.